Hello, Android developers. I believe having proper tooling as a developer is a must-have for us. And today I have a guest with me who is going to show us some plugins that you can install on your Android Studio that will make your life easier. So without further ado, let's start. Hello, Ilyas. Thanks for joining me.
That was good. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to be in here.
First, give us some idea. Where are you based?
I'm currently based in Turkey. I work at a company called Teknasyon at specific project. It's called Get Contact. I usually work on the UI, UX, and the chat channel module. And I've been there for 6 months right now.
Okay, cool. And I found you from an article that you have shared on Medium. How do you find it interesting to share stuff with other Android developers?
Well, I first started I really liked to share with my colleagues some of the tips and shortcuts. Also, call me Shortcut Ilyas because I love a lot. I knew a lot of shortcuts. I love to do that, but then I said okay, I need to document the whole shortcuts, the plugins, and everything that I knew because when I change my laptop, I forgot some of this stuff or I don't use all the stuff that I know. So I just put every shortcut I knew and I published it, and it gained a lot of traction. People really loved it. I put some plugins. People really loved it, and they shared their screenshot of their IDE that they now really love their job more or hate it less. It depends on the person. And I started to share more articles, composer related. People loved it, and I kept going. And the feedback of people, sometimes it enhanced the code. It gave me new ideas, and it was really great to have interaction with other developers.
Yeah, happy to hear that you're so caring about the community. Okay, anytime you're ready, you can share your screen and we can start.
Okay, let's get started. First, we will start with some enhancement to your visual of your IDE. So we'll add some new themes, some to the progress bar, stuff like that to make it look better. And then we will go and add some new functionality to your Android Studio that can faster your daily work, and then some specific plugins. If you are using Detekt or Ktlint, there is some plugins that can make your job easier. So I did actually install all of the plugins on my Android Studio because a lot of them requires Android Studio to be restarted to be activated. So I installed all of them, but you can actually add what you like gradually with me. For the theme, I have some favorite themes, but I asked you and I asked a lot of my colleagues, and they gave me their favorite too. So if you go to plugins and then marketplace, you can search for these plugins. You can install Dracula Theme. This is your favorite. The GitHub Theme. This is really nice. It has a lot of good variations. I will show you each one now. And one dark theme is really cool, very colorful theme. And finally, this is my favorite, which is dark theme. Then after installing all of them, you go to the appearance and you will start normally your Android Studio will come with the dark as a default, but you can try the Dracula theme, which is this guy. And there is, oh, sorry, this is the Dracula theme, which is more colorful theme that's really nice. And there is the GitHub theme, really relaxed, really minimalist, doesn't have a lot of color on the background. There is more variation. The experimental, this is more like Dracula, but with a little bit more colors for the code. There is one dark if you love the colorful purple. It's really nice. It has a lot of variation as well. And my favorite is this DarkCode. It's really minimalist. It looks like the Dracula with the darker background. So I will go with it currently. And let's add more visual to our Android Studio. We can go like in the previous Android Studio, if you remember, like the previous UI, it looked a bit more horrible, especially the icons. It looks like every single icon looked different than the other. It didn't have like this similar design system to all of it, but the current one is better. But still, if you love to use the previous UI or the current UI with different icons, you can install an plugin called Atom Material Icons, which is this one. So I will enable it, and it will require me to reinstall, restart my Android Studio. All right, now it opened. So now, as you see, there is like this material icons, which is more colorful if you like the more colorful icons, which is it also changes the run build icons, and it also changes the file icons, which is it's loading for a moment. Yeah, you can see also here it also changes the file and directory icons. But as you see, like the previous icons for Kotlin looked even better. So if you go here and like search for material icons, you can here enable and disable everything that you like or you don't like. So here you have all the options to do whatever you like. You can have fun with it. And with more visual plugins, there is actually a lot of plugins for the progress bar, which is when you are building and syncing your project, which is like actually like not the most important thing on our lives, but it makes our build weight progress like way less like
Boring.
boring, and you don't want to scream at your laptop a lot. You can instead cheer Mario to do the. I have like Mario progress bar, but if you go the marketplace and search progress bar, there's like literally millions of them. And when you enable that, you go. Let's enable this plugin or like library sync now, and you will see like this beautiful animation. And when it's building, Mario goes. And in our project, sometimes it takes like 2 or 3 minutes when you are switching branches, and you know it makes it less stressful to wait for the build time. We can go with actually there is a plugin most of the developers familiar with. It's called Rainbow Brackets. And what it actually does is to add colors to each brackets separately. So it's easier to copy, paste, move each code block without like the need to count where are you and where your block ends. It's basically adds like colors to each one separately, and like you just copy or move your code block using that. And finally, there is a plugin called, I think it's called CodeGlance Pro, which adds like it's easier to show it to you here. I enable it here. It actually adds a small glance of your code to the side, which is similar to what VS Code does. And it's really helpful because when you are adding new code, for example, this is a new code that I didn't push to my Git. It shows here a green color that you can navigate easily. So when you are adding new code to your file, and you want to go back to your code, it will show a green that you can go easily to that. Or if you have like an error, it will show an error here, and it's easier to navigate using that. And when, if it's a really long file as well, you can use this instead of this guy. And when you are using, like maybe now I'm not using a second screen, you can disable it from here. You go to the settings, type CodeGlance Pro, and you can disable it from here. So I'm gonna go and disable it by default. You can disable it and it will go away, or you can enable it from here.
Cool.
All right, let's continue. That's it with the visual plugins that will make your Android Studio look pretty cool. And you can try, there's like literally millions of themes and progress bar and all of that jazz. And even this CodeGlance, there is like 3 or 4 versions of it. So you can try with what you like the best. Now we can go and add some utilities to our Android Studio. So we have, I will tell you literally all of them. You can install it, and we will experiment with each of them separately. So there is like ADB Idea, which adds a lot of functionality, like installing, killing the app, doing stuff like that. I will show you in a moment. You can add GitToolBox. I will show it in a moment. JSON Formatter, Kotlin to JSON to Kotlin class, and Kotlin field class. And string manipulation. And I will show each one of them separately. So if you go, when you have like in your logcat, you have a lot of responses coming from the backend. You want to see if there is something wrong with the response or something like that. Usually it looks horrible. You can't see which, especially if it's a large response. You usually need to copy it and go to website and do something like that. But if you install the JSON formatter, you can copy the JSON and go to JSON formatter, JSON formatter, and paste it here. Let me do it like this first. So your response will be one line looking like this, yeah? And basically you can format it, and it will show you an error. There is an error, or it will just format it if it's correctly. And what I really like is they have a tab for it, so it will be looking just a normal tab in your Android Studio, and you can paste it whenever you want, and you can format your JSON easily. Other than that, you have like when you have some JSON, which usually you go to you get it from your backend, and you want to create new class. Usually we'll go put each property separately, but you can, instead of that, you can use JSON to Kotlin plugin, which is this guy. And when you add this plugin, it will be added to the new. It will add basically a file template, basically, and it will show up here, Kotlin data class. And you can paste your JSON file here. You can click to advance and add any annotation you want. For example, if you are adding JSON annotations, Mushy annotations, stuff like that for the naming, and just give it a name. For example, like example. If you see here, there is also nested classes, and it will recognize that and will create separate file for this. So if you say create, I'll show it again. Yeah, so it will add all your files here. I don't have the JSON annotation, in my project. That's why it's showing an error. But other than that, it adds everything, and it adds the nested class separately. So that's way easier to add everything separately.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like it. It's easier. There is also a really cool plugin called Kotlin field classes, which what it basically does, it can fill your classes with dummy data or fill your function with dummy data. That's really helpful when you are doing a compose previews or doing like some kind of testing. If you don't have Copilot, that would be really handy. So for example, like let's use the generate function. And then when you click on options and enter, it will show up here. So it's either fill function, so you can provide the data yourself, or fill it with dummy values, which I will go with. So it's basically fills all the values with it.
Yeah, I always have a hard time to memorize which parameters I should pass. I think that's very useful.
Especially in the testing when the data doesn't matter, like you're just check on that, or in the previews, it's really helpful. So this for function, and if you have like also classes, it can also provide data for it. So you can do it like this, and that would be it. So this is really helpful. But if you have like Copilot, obviously you don't even need that. It will fill all the stuff for you, and write the test, get the job done, and you are not also required to do your own job if you have Copilot. I think, yeah, that's it for the fill plugin. We also have a plugin called string manipulation, which also you use it as well. Yeah, I think you have mentioned that.
Yeah, I have a full video about this string manipulation. So yeah, I will refer to guys with the card on the video. So yeah, but feel free to demo it.
That's great. I will give some basic examples, but you can check out the full video. So usually you will have like some parameters to your intent or stuff like that, or whatever you want, and you are using like something like first name. Can try first name, and then like last name, stuff like that, and you just want to fill your intent with data, and then you want this data here to be copied and pasted here, but with different, usually with different cases. So what you actually can do, instead of like rewriting everything like this, first name, last name, stuff like that, you can put the same value, and then using the string manipulation plugin, you can write to using like Command Shift A and write to, and it will show you all of the options, which is like two camel case, Pascal case, snake case. In this case, we want the snake case, so it will do the job for us. And usually it's really handy to do that. If you don't remember the shortcut, you can click on the string that you want, and it will show up here. So you have all kind of options here. So for example, if you want to increase, decrease the numbers, if you want to create some kind of list, like for example, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4 to 10, you can click and go here, increment, and it will increase each one. Oh, it didn't work as I expected. Oh, sorry, yeah, it won't. That just increases the number, but you can create a sequence. So it will create a numbers from 1 to 10, and it's way easier when you are writing tests and stuff like that. But usually it's for converting cases to another cases, especially in huge refactors. This is really handy. Do you have any use cases that you want to mention here, or like?
Yeah, I do lots of multi-cursor and then use data string manipulation to change the type case but I didn't know the sequence and increment, decrement, which is nice to know. Thanks.
Literally, what you mentioned here is like you create multi-cursors here. For example, like go to what? Sorry. And you copy all of that and
Exactly.
here, and then go like to whatever case you want, and here you have all of the values correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's
code like a pro.
yeah. And other than that, we have like the ADB plugin, which is this guy. This adds a lot of functionality to your emulator. So instead of going to your emulator, open it, do some stuff with like killing the app, restarting the app, cleaning the cache, disabling or enabling the Wi-Fi, you can just go with Command Shift A for the actions and write ADB, which will show you all the actions that you can have. For example, I use clear app data and restart a lot. So instead of going cleaning the data, opening the app again, which you can't really find, you can just use that. You can enable the Wi-Fi, disable it. You can kill the app, restart. There's really a lot of functions like installing it and stuff like that. So this is really helpful, but if you don't remember the shortcut, it shows up in the tools section, ADB Idea, and you have all the actions there, like literally here. So that's it for this plugin as well. We will have finally something that can enhance your Git capabilities in your Android Studio. So literally what I really like is that I don't want to go outside of my Android Studio. For example, for JSON formatting, I love to start in my Android Studio. For the Git related stuff, I really love to stay in the Android Studio. I don't want to go anywhere else. So I really want to improve that. So this plugin also adds some more functionalities. For example, you can add inline blame for your code. So when you click on each line, it will show up who did edit that lately. So this project is just a demo project, but it shows all the time who added that. And here it shows the status of your branch. So if you need to fetch your branch, it will show up here, or you need to push the branch, it will also show up here. It will add the same functionality to here. So you will see each file if it needs to be pushed or fetched before. And it also adds the best. Yeah. So if you go to the settings, it will actually add something called auto fetch, which will update the project all the time. Each 15 minutes, I have it, or maybe you can make it less. So in this way, you don't have to check to fetch before pushing your project at all. Literally, I don't do any fetch because this is also doing all that for me. And if there is something that I need to update, it will show up here, and I will know that, okay, I don't need to push it and then get there and then rebase my branch on the remote branch. And you can also play around with the blame settings. So you can like show the author, maybe like the first name instead, like the last name, initials, anything that you want. It's pretty flexible. And you can maybe remove the blame from this bar if you don't like it. It's up to you. You can also disable the blame inline blame if you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what is really cool about it, it's sometimes it's really hard to push the tags if you don't know the exact git command for it. And you can git press on Command Shift A and go the push tags, and it will do that for you. Or if you have like a lot of branches you are working on and then they are merged, then you need to delete all your local branches. It has something called branch cleanup. You can click on it and it will show every local branch that you have and which with its status. So if something is merged, you can select all the merged and clean up all the mess instead of doing that manually. So it's also really helpful to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a fan of IDE Git. I have Git GUI. I use fork. But yeah, for those who love to not switch between from IDE to other apps, I think that's very nice. I didn't know the loss of functionality.
Which app you are using currently?
I'm using fork.
Fork. Is it really good? I used before Git Kraken. It was really good, but then it was paid, and I stopped using it. But
There are different tastes. Some like Git Kraken, some like Source Tree. I used to use Source Tree, but then I found fork and I found it much faster. That's why I keep using it, and I like their developer. They really give when you give some feedback, they really apply it and fix the stuff really fast. So yeah, I like them. I'm supporting them.
That's great. I can check it out. I used also Source Tree, but I found like it's gives me the same functionality as Android Studio, so there's no need to go to another application if it's giving me the same like capabilities. But I can check out Fork.
Yeah, I have a full video about fork too, so I will share in cards.
Thanks. Like we will go to our final two plugins, which is like really specific if you are using Ktlint and Detekt. So usually you will have them attached to your pre-commit and pre-push hooks, which will make it really great to not make any mistakes. But what you really want is to make your Android Studio help you to identify any errors before doing that, because it's way easier to fix it before waiting a lot for to get the errors when you are pushing. So when you add the Detekt and the Git plugins, Ktlint plugins, it will make an inline error when you are doing errors that's not acceptable in your config file. For example, if I make a lot of lines that unnecessary, it will almost immediately show me the errors here that I need to fix, and it will not be acceptable when I'm doing the push or the commit. And it's the same for the Detekt plugin. So if you write the Detekt here, yeah, if you go here to Detekt, you can also add your configuration files here, and it will start to get your any configuration from that file and apply it to your project. And also you can treat Detekt findings as errors. Normally it's a warning, but if you wanted to make it more strict, you can enable it as an error. And it's the same for Ktlint. You can change to enable it, disable it, and make it look like an error or warning or none. So currently I have it as an error to be fixed immediately, but if you change it to warning, make some new lines like this, it will be as a warning now, and the same. So it's really helpful to get an immediate feedback from these plugins to fix your code before pushing it. And actually, you recommended me this after using that Detekt for a while. I don't get the error when I am pushing. I'm fixing that immediately. That's so great to have.
Yeah, I also use it day by day.
Actually, yeah, that's it. Now you will have a lot of new functionality, and your Android Studio will look great. So that's pretty much it.
I also have GitHub Copilot in my list. Do you use it already?
Oh yeah, I love using it. That for mentioning. So Copilot, like when it first came out, it wasn't that helpful. So I removed it, and then after like maybe 6 months, my friend told me like, now it's great. You're gonna try it, and I was pretty skeptic about that. But then I tried it, and pretty much it does a lot of stuff for you. Like it's like you're having a new way of auto completing, but it's way better. For example, if you have like really organized project with the clean architecture and you have the same structure all the time, it can really recognize that structure and create the whole thing for you. You will just give it the JSON, and it will start generating responses, the call to your API, then your use cases, the test, everything. If it's really good in pattern, it will do that. But it's also really great for basic stuff. Like, for example, instead of filling this stuff for yourself, it will do it for you and stuff like that. So how is your experience so far? I really think that it's worth the payment for it.
Yeah. As you said, at the beginning, it was a bit dumb. I had the feeling that it was just copy pasting some block of code which might be related from GitHub, another repo or another project. But as you said, right now it's much smarter, and it understands your pattern. It helps a lot with, as you said, a smart autofill or autocomplete. Yeah, if your company pays for it, it's much nicer to have. Because yeah, it has some subscription. But yeah, you can ask your company to they are not our sponsors to be honest, but you can ask your company to have it for you. And I find it nice, to be honest. Day by day it helps a lot. And just be careful with whatever it generates. It's like a kid with lots of power, but that kid may break your code, so you have to really read whatever it generates. And yeah, keep using it. It's nice.
You're gonna use it sometimes and you're gonna start to be the reviewer of that code immediately, because sometimes small mistakes, for example, like using the boolean in the reverse way by adding like exclamation mark, and now you need to run the code, and you'll see that, oh, that's not working correctly, and you will start to dig the code to see where you do the mistakes. But actually Copilot can do that. But when you are like generating piece by piece and reviewing that, you will not have this problem. So just be careful with it.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm missing at this point is some dialogue to write my intention. Right now I just use comment, just double forward slash and write something, and in the next line it try to generate what I ask. But I was wondering maybe just a dialogue that I can type what I'm looking for. Yeah, something like that.
I think in VS Code you have this kind of dialogue. So you will type, you will activate this dialogue, and you can say like, explain this code to me, rewrite this code to me, and maybe like if you want to generate something new, you can also write that. It's really helpful. I don't know why it didn't exist in Android Studio yet.
Yeah, I hope they add this too.
I hope so.
Cool. Okay, nice. Anything else you want to share?
That was pretty much it. I hope you love it.
I loved it, to be honest. Some I already knew, some I didn't. But thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, if you're an Android developer and you do coding for Android, or you want to start learning Android, this is what I'm doing on this channel. I'm sharing stuff related to Android and programming and development. And I also interview with other Android developers who are interested in sharing stuff or interesting about sharing their lifestyle and how the Android carrier worked for them. So subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. You will get notified whenever there's a new video. And yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Ilyas, for joining me.
A lot for having me. It was really fun. See you.
See you. Have a nice day.